Sigue Arroyo, amaga que le va a pegar, luego le pega. ¡Gol del América!
Left-footed cross towards the back post. America scored first.
The ball crossing, header snapped in. Rayados grab another road goal. Kept out, Ochoa again.
Vergara cutting infield. Vergara! Rayados take the lead back.
démosle la bienvenida al Club de Fútbol Monterrey y al Club América para el partido de esta noche de la Liga de Campeones Concacaf Scotiabank.
headers away. It's a lively first 5 minutes.
Well, you can't really ask for much more on the offensive front, Mike, if you're a Rayados fan and what they're capable of bringing to the table. I talked coming in about Funes Mori, their all-time leading scorer. He's been kept at bay, and you look at the numbers and think, all right, 4 goals in 12 matches. That's not too bad. For a guy that clicks at over 50% throughout his career, that's a heavy fall-off. And so you get him going a couple minutes into a match, that's the confidence builder you need. You can forget all the shape, you can forget tactics. Confidence for this team moving forward has drastically been lacking. It's a fantastic start.
It's a Monterrey side that 4 consecutive defeats in the league. The last 3, 1-0. Away from Jorge Sanchez. Toward the corner. Bounces simply to Rodriguez. He's thrust aside.
Well, that's one way to slow it down, isn't it? In the back line, the way that Club America like to attack. Little pivots, slide. Jorge Sanchez high up into the midfield. Have to be careful because of all the speed that Rayados possess. I mentioned how they struggled in transition. That was against Olympia. This is a far different attack. The ghosts of Benguche and Bengston are a little bit different here, aren't they?
The bounce. Turned aside by Gallardo. Corner. Maxi Mesa retrieves for Monterrey. Only 3 starts to compile those 4 goals, 2 assists. Yet one more goal would set him alone for the Golden Boot race. Mesa. Ochoa collides, got it away. And now the run out is on Martinez. Wonderful challenge by Rodriguez. Montez. Runners arriving. The service. Funes Mori! He is the man for Monterrey. Their all-time scorer. And as he delivered another Champions League crown with the opening goal.
There is not much that you can complain about in terms of overall form for Club America throughout the tournament. One thing has been the transitional movements and the lack of speed, and look how direct they go. It's a 40-yard diag down into the corner. As you knock this back, you have to hit the reset button as a center back. Cáceres does not have an understanding of A, what's behind him, but B, where his footing needs to be here. They struggled versus Olympia in the exact same fashion. Too much real estate, too many options, and too quickly, this squad has fallen behind on the road. What a finish this is by Funes Mori. Deflection or not. Right place, right time. It's been wrong recently, but absolute perfection inside 10 minutes.
And again, Funes Mori's the man who slays the giant. His 10th goal against Club America. That's 3rd most of any active player against these Eagles. The referee waiting a moment. Let's see if the offside flag should play a role. Goodness me. Cáceres may have just been let off the hook. It's an elongated conversation between the referee, Fernando Hernandez, and the VAR tonight, Adonai Escobedo.
Now the conversation's going to be, where does the touch come from, at what point in time, and where is the position exactly of Funes Mori? Of course, that man right there, Solari, hoping that his counterpart, Aguirre, has not been gifted an early opening goal. But to be fair, this present was unwrapped a long time ago for Rayados. The start to this game, magical. Let's have a look.
For the first time in a Champions League final in CONCACAF, VAR comes into play. That's the tunnel the players came out of that he's now run down. You can see VAR room outside this venue. And what you see on your screen is precisely what the referee is seeing, and it's a quick decision. It's a goal. Monterrey opens the scoring, and it is Funes Mori.
He's asking for more, and it's the deflection point, not the initial ball played. Solari doesn't agree, but as the deflections come back, he has re-established himself into an onside position. The impact on the play is very difficult to argue when you then bring yourself back on side. Solari not going to be privy to the same views that we've gotten here.
Luis Fuentes to throw. Has capped just once for Mexico. It was 6 years ago. It's a dangerous ball back from Gonzalez. Roger Martinez has done more with less. And a free kick. Club America in magnificent real estate.
You can use this as a reset point for any sort of assistance whatsoever, Mike, because of the slow start and the goal given up, understanding that it is quite some distance away. But with Sanchez and his magical right foot, pretty much anything is on the table from this distance. Ask any question you want either way.
He'll lift this over the back line. Monterrey's dealt with that. Again, Esteban Andrada. No reason to sweat yet. The newcomer in goal for Monterrey. Flag is down at the outset, but Gonzalez overtaken. Recovered by Osuna, but taken back. Ahead, around the keeper. Mesa. That ball gotten out over the line. Flag is up from the linesman.
Again, speed being the issue here, Mike. It is interesting how quickly this space is being jumped into. Previous matches for Rayados, we've seen so many different looks, and this is the right decision. It's out, it's over the line. Ochoa way off, but you can see Green in between the end line. They've almost had to put patchwork together through these games, whether it be league or within the SCCL run, where they've gone flat in the middle. They've gone to a single pivot, double within a a loaded bottom triangle. We've seen a 3-back, we've seen a 5-back. Aguirre always searching to try and find the preferred formation, and more importantly, where was the success going to come from moving forward? Because it has been an issue for quite some time, just now making its way into league play. Funes Mori not scoring. Maxi Meza, we talked about it coming in as who could possibly win the golden ball, and I looked at you and said, yeah, but he's only played in half the games. That's the rotation that they've dealt with. Club America has not. They've had a real good understanding and an identity for such an elongated period of time, especially over this 25-game stretch right now. Only 3 losses within it, 18 wins as well. Much more well-versed in this oiled machine.
Salvador Reyes goes down awkwardly. The free kick to come for Club America. th minute. Rayados opening the scoring. Funes Mori towing the offside line. Can Club America come up with something? Sanchez. First ball's away. Recovered, however. And a whistle had blown. That was Reyes. Contact giveth and taketh away for Salvador Reyes.
He's a little lost right now on this left-hand side in the matchup that he has, regardless of who's stepping through. Alfonso Gonzalez bears the brunt of this challenge. But I mentioned to you how that was an interesting change for Solari, and a guy that primarily plays much deeper, especially onto the back line for America. Fuentes behind another mistake.
Andrada sent it all the way through. Mesa, near post run. Funes Mori, it's away. The numbers are even. Sanchez runs inside of Celso Ortiz. Monterrey seeking a remarkable 5th Champions League crown in this era. As mentioned, they're 2nd in 3 years. Ortiz breaking play up. Club America getting toward the end line. And that's a clean challenge. Cáceres. Reyes. He has burst onto the scene, both in the league and into the national team system a bit. Fuentes. The return from Fidalgo. Sanchez looking to combine. Into the penalty area, the cutback ball is off the mark, deflected, sent wayward.
That's much better though, the intent. Very easy to process here. Just keep this thing moving. Quick touches, quick movement. It's really the first time that you've seen any sort of threatening movements coming forward, Mike. And it all starts with this long 40-yard ball going the other direction. You've compressed the field into about 40, 45 yards defensively for Rayados. You would think you would make it easier, but the problem is they bump so many numbers forward for Club America. Sanchez on the right, overloads in the middle, creating 5 across. Then you can start to drop 1 or 2 deep. You can play off of each other, and you have the benefit of someone like a Martin or Martinez streaking in through to the byline.
Sanchez. Short of Martin. Jorge Sanchez dealing with Funes Mori. Interestingly enough, this venue has been remarkably difficult for any opposition in Champions League. but in particular in its 6-year history, Club America, Monterrey has lost just once to this rival at this venue. Recovered by Fuentes. Contact in from behind, referee saw it, doesn't acknowledge. Ortiz. And it's a disjointed Club America. The ball played through. Funes Mori. Minutes in. Anything surprise you? There was so much cloak and dagger over the past few days, potential injuries, changes to lineups.
Well, I mentioned to you about keeping the midfield together in the absence of Aquino when they've lost it. And they've lost it in a way that isn't traditional because you don't see a lot of direct play coming down through the middle for Rayados. That's nothing revolutionary for a team that likes to play on the outside. But as direct as they've gone, Club America isn't dropping back. It's almost like fighting fire with fire, Mike. They're pushing higher and getting themselves into these one-offs that you're seeing right in front of you.
Cards come out. Foul in from behind, and the question is, where did that foul occur? Memo Ochoa said something clearly quite perplexing to the official.
Just at the touch edge of the box, and the little slide coming all the way back over.
Gallardo clearly outside the penalty area, never in question.
But again, just mentioning to you that with the movements that are coming, you would think the long ball's up over the top. At some point in time, and now 22 minutes in, down 1-0, you're gonna have to start to respect that, Mike. You have to drop off a little bit and make them play another game. I talked to you extensively about taking what the game is giving to you. This isn't that hard to figure out for America right now. This is a little drop back, keep the game in front of you, and then you can start to punch go in the other direction.
That's Cáceres who went into the book. He's had a bit of a howler of a night so far. Alfonso Gonzalez, one of those behind the ball. Funes Mori awaits at the back post. Watch his darting runs, 7 and blue. This is swung in front of goal. Recovered by Gallardo. Ortiz. Up by Hector Moreno. Rodriguez. Final being played in front of a 75% capacity crowd in Monterrey. There were some camped outside the ticket office over the past few days in hopes of getting one of these few tickets. Stadium that typically holds north of 50,000. Stadium very much in contention to be hosting matches in the FIFA World Cup. When it comes to North America,
it's magnificent here, isn't it? How could it not be included in that conversation with beautiful amenities? You and I have gotten the opportunity to walk around it a couple of times, and almost every single turn there's a new marvel, at least from our vantage point.
Throw one by Reyes. Fuentes. Osuna gave it away. Funes Mori at full speed. He's cut back, he has options. Now struck on the first time. The denial. Gonzalez. Now a foul short of the halfway line. Club America has lost once in Liga MX. They've lost once in this tournament. It was the shocking upset to Olimpia. So what's wrong tonight? They just haven't been able to put anything together yet.
You know, getting outplayed is one thing, Mike, but just being absolutely deceitful to oneself and the identity is a whole nother argument. That's exactly what's playing out in front of your eyes for Club America. It's the giveaways out of the midfield. Cáceres drifting back, and the challenges on the far side, the spacing between the two center backs.
Well, this ball is becoming more and more dangerous as it flies along. Medina finally cleared that initial danger.
Even on the chase on the inside with Fidalgo and Sanchez, the separation between the two of them is the reason being they're able to find so many players running through this front line. And Funes Mori is the easy one to look at, right? We've talked about Maxi Meza and what he's been capable of, but look at the support coming back up through in the secondary runs. Alfonso Gonzalez leading the charge on that front. So for a team that's been struggling to find one option in the attacking third, all of a sudden, 25 minutes into a final, they've got 6 or 7.
Ball floated further. Decent trick by Gonzalez to keep it momentarily. Gallardo again thumped. Javier Aguirre has felt the entire roller coaster of the past month winless. And yet, when you listen to the press conferences over the last few days, a lot of talk about ignoring 4 consecutive defeats in the league. They're still in position to qualify for the Liguilla here in Mexico, but you've got a final where it doesn't really matter what your form is anymore. Or at least that's what they say.
Oh, the conversation was the separation between the two, right? The talk usually with all the players internationally and their flair is the difference between club and country in that form. This is a bit closer of that dynamic, right? You have to take a look at what this team has done domestically. And the other part of that is the separation within the tournament itself. So I can sit here and talk to you about what was good or great at the beginning, in the 16, in the 8. You're looking at 7, 8 months ago, right? April earlier this year, mathematics off or not. And the same token goes for Club America, who, you know, they've got a couple of blemishes. It's the loss to Olympia, it's the draw to Portland, and yet still, they were the more impressive team coming through all of this. They have been the team that has been feared domestically. If you didn't know the stats and we hadn't told you what it looked like coming in, you would never think that about Rayados and the way that they're playing right now.
Reyes again going down. Reyes and Gallardo are making the Kip man's life a little more difficult tonight.
It's going to continue to get interesting. Watch the switch with he and Roger Martinez. Little pivot back. He'll cut more inside on that left foot of his, Reyes.
Ball driven all the way through. Finally, a touch away from goal. Martinez will step through. Fuentes debuted for Pumas in Champions League in 2008. Fuentes did. That's not the answer either. And the injured player down is Richard Sanchez. Santiago Solari won everything, most everything there is to win as a player. As a coach, he managed Real Madrid to the Club World Cup title in 2018. Turned out he was more stopgap than long-term solution at Real Madrid. Turns out a long-term solution has been more difficult to grasp than initially anticipated. Nonetheless, he's come into what many would argue to be the biggest club in Mexico, and he's found a way to deal with it all quite well, but looking for that second trophy to hoist. There's Sanchez.
A playmaking presence within the number 10 role for America has been an interesting debate over the past couple of months because of the inclusion of so many numbers going forward when you get a Fidalgo, a Sanchez, the front line that is so talented, Martinez, Henry Martin. The odd one is Reyes, but where does the true attacking playmaker come from? gets that sweet little pivot from a Sanchez. Fidalgo will drop down next to his running mate in the midfield to help out defensively. Need the extension forward, though.
Whittling further and further backward, a corner. Reyes has called off Sanchez for this. Does America find an equalizer just past half an hour? Careening into the corner untouched entirely, Fidalgo. Bouncing through, easy enough for Andrada.
It's just frustration at the half-hour mark for Club America, trying to get something off. Really, the goalkeeper not tested at all, Mike.
Fidalgo will lead the charge. Martinez has switched out into the left. Fuentes. He flies by Mesa. Fidalgo. Struck from a long way out. Nothing doing for Osuna. You can see Javier Aguirre willing his team to press all the way back across the halfway line.
Just reset the defensive front that Club America was not able to do. The goal given up is one thing, Mike, but I mentioned to you how they just really, once the long ball came up through, they weren't getting higher, and he's hoping his team doesn't follow the same suit. Loads of space to run into.
Martin rolls out. Martinez. Roger Martinez curling.
This is what you get with the change, though. Just mentioned it before the free kick about 10 minutes prior. Martinez to the left, Reyes to the right. More inversion. Left footers and right footers naturally the ability to cut back to the inside and challenge the space in front of them. And it's much more difficult for an outside back in Medina. As you pivot your hips, Mike, it's hard to then turn and keep any sort of top speed. This one just gets away from a little bit, but calculating Reyes is.
Fuentes.
Henry Martin even touched the ball?
A few times.
Not very many, right?
Not enough.
The good news is there is a response, though, because you just have the strike by Roger Martinez on the ball again. We saw just prior Reyes. Now find your striker. Getting Sanchez in the middle. Fidalgo all involved.
Fuentes serves. There's Mori coming back to the ball. Cáceres. And ultimately, regardless of who's unavailable for Club America, you're starting forwards. Include a Colombian full international and a Mexican full international. The expectation is that they should see the ball enough to make an impact. Osuna knocking this to touch. Back from Sanchez.
You can't take anything away from Moreno or Montes on the back line, and really what you're getting defensively out of Carlos Rodriguez. Little pinch back to the inside, close it down. Club America, it's like every single touch just escaping them, regardless of the fact that they've worked their way back into the game. Has to clean it up.
Martinez keeping his feet. The Meg. Nothing for Rodriguez on the other end. Free kick, Club America. Finally, Henry Martin has touched the ball. He's done so in a way where he himself can't do the damage, but he does set up Club America in a decent position.
He has to come pretty deep to get it, though, too. Which is where the challenge comes from on the quick little turnover. No touch there as they stepped back, and when you come the other direction, Henry Martin deep, lying into the midfield, trying to combine with any of the aforementioned and Fidalgo and Sanchez. How's your aim?
It's a lot of open net, and perhaps Sanchez will test that theory. Sanchez will! And now Andrada has work to do. Finally, something to test. The Argentine goalkeeper. Sanchez took the previous effort. He'll strike the corner. Andrada came out to punch for it, and he didn't get it. And another corner.
I mentioned the little magician and the right footer that is. Very close for Andrada on the first one. The second one doesn't even get a touch. Go back to the initial effort. Magic into the upper corner. Is it going to go in? Probably off the crossbar. But better safe than sorry for Andrada.
Now Andrada's got it. Even that came with a bobble.
But you can feel there's a momentum swing right now. Slowly, inch by inch, Club America working their way back into this game. They've reestablished their lines defensively. They're not letting Rayados play those long balls out of the back. It's more of a group effort right now, Mike. The little pivot on the right-hand side, Jorge Sanchez, he's not playing as high. Once they've established their position, yes, he gets involved in the attack. But that means as it comes direct up over the top, you're not worried about having to chase. Now you can challenge Andrada.
Karamdolf Ortiz. The ball has started bouncing differently. Indeed, perhaps the momentum has changed in this 2021 Concacaf Champions League final. And as fast as it changed, it may have returned. Monterrey into the final third. The service short of Funes Mori. But Rayados more still. Rodriguez. The winner will go to the United Arab Emirates for the 2021 Club World Cup. That'll commence in early 2022. It will be the first Club World Cup without a debutant, believe it or not. This is a wonderful run. And the foul from behind. Should come with a card too. Indeed, Bruno Valdez held up from behind. Ortiz, second player into the book, joining Cáceres.
It had to be for the Paraguayan coming high off the back line. Well done. The two countrymen, Ortiz chasing down Valdez, trying to provide the extension, and they didn't really struggle with it as much in the opening up because he was defending so much. But as they've reestablished themselves here, your identity has to change as well, Mike. So whether you're going long up over the top, trying to play through the middle, continue to throw different looks at Rayados. That little step, when it presents itself, easy enough for Valdez to walk through.
Sanchez feathers. The run out stymied by the touchline. Look at the AR on that side. Karen Diaz, FIFA badge in 2018, but this is the biggest game she's been a part of, and in doing so has broken a barrier on the international stage. First woman to officiate a Champions League final.
That ball comes a split second sooner, you're in. Instead, it's a slight hesitation. Once you do finally get it off deflection, Moreno steps in. The two center backs of Montez and Moreno have been brilliant for Aguirre and Rayados tonight.
Andrada. Fuentes leans over the top. Martinez. Short of Sanchez. And now it's an imperiled Club America. Mesa slides in. Memo Ochoa, 15 years separating Champions League final appearances. He was the backup goalkeeper last time his Club America was here. Well, here with him in tow. And won it during his European excursion of a decade.
Interesting listening to the lead up for him of cherishing the final in every specific moment because that happened so early on in his career. He was thinking it was going to be regular.
21.
Happened 20. Happens every single year. And then all of a sudden, a decade and a half, and you're back at the same point. You had to wait that long, and how special of a moment it was going to be. Yes, it was going to be difficult, but to embrace it.
Scooped up after the contact with Reyes.
They've definitely found some movement forward, especially the switch with Martinez and Reyes. Martinez coming to the near touchline, dropping very deep defensively to help out. They've needed it.
Rodriguez circulates this wide. He's taking it again. Club America, a flock moving forward. Sanchez bumping off Gallardo. Martinez. Fuentes overlapping. Bouncing Andrada. Well, he's punched the ball away, but maybe to his detriment. He's recovered. Fidalgo. Fidalgo cuts this back. Andrada's at the post. Steered over the line.
He gets himself in trouble on the initial view, but the trailing right leg of Esteban Andrada keeps them out of trouble on the near post effort. Quality was the footwork by Fidalgo just to even get the opportunity off.
Well, intriguingly, the referee has stopped play for the time being.
Andrada, it's multiple times now that he's come out into traffic, Mike, and hasn't really come close to getting any of the job done. Is the ball over the line? Watch this little flick. Lovely. Beautifully done by the goalkeeper, even if he gets it wrong the first time. Excellent recovery.
Sanchez. He gets a second look. Fuentes. hampered him enough. Jorge Sanchez returning to the team. Notably unavailable for Club America for obvious reasons. This tournament has occurred over the course of 205 days. In that time, a transfer window. Miguel Layun making the move from Monterrey, where he began this tournament, to Club America, cup-tied. And so he sits upstairs, can't play a part for his new side. Jorge Sanchez, the one who stepped into the 11. Into stoppage time. 2 added minutes.
Missing famed outside back, missing your holding midfielder, which is really the key problem that started the entire issue here. It's been good recovery, but a ton of space that's still readily available for Rayados, and I'm a little bit surprised that that's not where they've tried to attack. That ball right in there to that pocket, Mike. You will see so many different players like a Funes Mori dropping in, a Maxi Meza just to the cuts inside, and they haven't attacked in that fashion. They've stayed with the success of the opening 20, 25 minutes, but the game has changed, and it has changed in a way that is benefiting the visitors.
2 wrongs make a right. 2 players down behind the play. That play continues in first half stoppage time. Martinez bursts to ground. And now play stopped. The athletic training staffs have made their way out. Maxi Meza and Luis Fuentes. The earlier challenge on Martin.
That was just before, and wow, the ankle. Ankle stuck into the ground, and then continues forth on Meza. And the long studs just getting caught up on the pitch as well. Game's a little different than when we started, isn't it?
Quite. There were just seconds remaining before halftime. One would imagine, if indeed this injury is too much to overcome, they play down a man through the half and avoid conceding a substitution window. All the while, Meza has gotten back to his feet. It's truly Fuentes in tremendous apparent agony. And he's been able to walk away from it, and even has a little bounce in his step as well.
And not only does his foot gets stopped, then he gets stepped on and then turns into it as well.
Well, that's what you want to see after a play like that, the two coming together. Most importantly, doing so of their own volition.
It's not a dirty challenge at all.
No.
They're both just outstretched, and 2 forces colliding at once. You would have to imagine that'll bring us to a stop, though. Not too much time remaining. Well, the tactical prowess that is Santiago Solari has taken over within the match. They don't have a goal to show for it, but they have started to pressure Andrada. The 2 center backs have done well for Aguirre and Rayados. The problem is now the outside backs heavily being tested. Club America know too much about that in this first half.
Ochoa has played this quickly, not nearly fast enough. The halftime whistle. Rayados get a goal, not without its controversy. VAR indeed confirmed a good goal. No offside. Funes Mori the man. And for Rayados, this has gone as close to script as potentially possible through one half of this grand finale in CONCACAF Champions League.
A direct for the opening 25 minutes. Beautifully played. Well-deserved decision on the VAR, and everything was going well for them. It's going to be a different breed in the second half, though, Mike, because of the change within the game. A lot more tactics at bay. It's been easy for Club America to put the ball on the deck and make the home team chase. You have to reestablish yourself on the outside. That's where the success was. That's also where the fault lies.
Halftime at Estadio BBVA. Monterrey 1, Club America 0. Halftime at Estadio BBVA, a wonderful light show pregame. The fireworks between Monterrey and Club America were just minutes away at the time. Two sides who have never lost in a CONCACAF final and playing in front of a 75% crowd. A magnificent atmosphere of nearly 40,000 very partisan Mexican fans in attendance. All playing for that trophy, hoping that it resides in their home venue. They came as gladiators, and by the time we kicked off, we were in search of the hero of the day, Monterrey and Club America. Devin, the highlights in this first half came pretty consistently. There was a good back and forth to this affair.
One-sided is probably the better way to say for the home squad in Rayados, with the magical start to this SCCL 2021 final. It was quick, it was decisive, and they were fortunate enough, after both captains got us on their way, to really lean into this. Super quick coming off the back line, long balls into the channels. We saw it so many times. It was Gallardo, it was Meza, it was Funes Mori, and there was a lot of Ochoa to be had.
That's Rodriguez sending this skyward over Ochoa. Javier Aguirre from the touchline looks on. Monterrey owned the first quarter hour or so of this game.
the separation was really a concern. Cáceres and Bruno Valdez, the center back pairing. I mentioned to you how difficult it was going to be for them in general, yet alone the fact that that pair has struggled when paired together, domestic or within the Champions League play, and that was exactly the same thing. Sanchez had gone so high into his line that this back three really struggled with the balls coming up over the top into the decisive moment. 9 minutes in. 1-2 down into the corner, mistake. Cáceres, a speed issue, gets himself into trouble. Had a few poor touches leading into the opening 10 minutes, but none could have been worse than the back post run, and Funes Mori just sits on this back shoulder. An easy run to be had, a beautiful tap in, 1-0 to the hosts.
His 10th ever goal against Club America. You can see the dismay on the face of Cáceres. He pays dearly for this missed clearance. And Funes Mori, who had gone ice cold in the league, opens the scoring for the striped side. It would be reviewed, however. First use of VAR in a CONCACAF Champions League final. Indeed deemed to be onside on both the preceding touch and the service across. 1-0 to Rayados on their home ground. Certainly they had to be considered the underdog coming into this game. And Club America, after struggling out the gate, started to find themselves a little bit. They were more physical, and they were ultimately able to create some chances at the tail end of the half.
Momentum lacking for Club America. I said defensively, Mike, that they needed to find a way to get away from the one-offs, slow the game down, and get your tacticians on the ball. It started with the physicality aspect of this. Cards flying back and forth a little bit, challenges for sure. There was the connection between Fuentes just before halftime. Maxi Meza involved on that challenge. That would lead us into the dressing room. Wasn't all poor for Santiago Solari. Momentum in their direction. Still behind though.
Halftime at this wonderful venue. And a look overhead at Estadio BBVA. The shots 5-4 in favor of Monterrey at the half. Possession firmly now in favor of Club America. Can Club America turn this around and win yet another CONCACAF title? Or can Monterrey win it for the 5th time in the Champions League era and the 2nd time in 3 years? The second half soon to come in Monterrey.
App. No matter where you are or who you're rooting for, you can watch your favorite competitions, teams, and players on the go. Get the latest news on all things CONCACAF. Get access to stats, play-by-play, players' information, schedule, and standings. Get instant notifications and alerts. Discover other fans like you. And show your support in social media with our exclusive camera filters. All of that and much more. Take your CONCACAF experience to the next level. Download now the official CONCACAF app, available on the App Store and Google Play.
The 13th All-Mexican final, the 37th CONCACAF club crown to be worn by a Mexican side. The question coming into tonight was who would wear said crown. Monterrey, would it be their 5th? Would it be their 2nd in 3 years? Club America in such tremendous form in the league. Record holders, most titles in CONCACAF. Mexico's longtime giant. Well, it's 1-0 Monterrey at halftime, Devin. And to be frank, I think there are going to be some quite surprised by that. Funes Mori scores the goal in the 9th minute that sets Rayados apart at the moment. What's the thought moving into this second half of play if you're Santiago Solari, the worldly manager of Club America?
You need a 9, and you need it quick because you've gotten some looks on the outside, but you have nothing centrally located. It doesn't matter how well you start to defend and what your midfield can do. If you do not have a presence up top to threaten the back line of Rayados, you're going to be in deep trouble.
Conversely, Rayados have a lead now. They had not scored in nearly 350 minutes when you include all competitions, and yet they grabbed the lead so early. Is there a concern that they may simply try to hold on to it the rest of the way?
Absolutely. You saw that within the first half, and does that carry over into the second? You don't want to play the exact same game as Club America and be on the ball all the time, but you have to get some sort of possession here. They've given up too much of the ball to the visitors.
Opening whistle for the second half of play. Rayados with the lead. Will they hold the trophy at the end of the night? Moreno plays forward, covered by Sanchez, gliding through Reyes. Martin. Surely plenty of pressure on Henry Martin. Establishing himself again with Tata Martino in El Tri's World Cup qualifying picture. The search for a 9 there continues.
To be fair to that argument coming in, Mike, of finding a natural striker to hold the space up top, this team, and I talked about identity, has not leaned on one individual player for goals this year, whether domestic or within the Champions League tournament. They've found it from so many different angles, and so you don't have that one streaking forward who's popping out 10, 15 goals. It's sort of a guilt by association, 3 here, 4 there. So you've been able to survive in that fashion, but when one of those disappears and all of a sudden 2 or 3 start to follow, the attacking presence quite hard to come by.
Funes Mori takes the contact from Mario Osuna, 33-year-old Mexican who hadn't played in Champions League in over half a decade.
He really struggled to get into this game in the first half in the absence of Pedro Aquino. Forget about the long balls up over the top. The massive gap between he, Sanchez, and Fidalgo was a huge problem for about 30, 35 minutes. And if you watch, he just continues to play this really deep-lying role, never backing off. You would expect him to continue to step up into it as they start to move forward, but he's just holding serve right in front of the center back pairing. And again, when you have someone like Funes Mori who's dropping down into the pocket, you have to chase, don't you?
Martin sneaking through Reyes. The run wasn't there. It's not over yet. Martinez tries to spin by Medina. Mesa. There is a calm in Santiago Solari right now. It was call it a humble brag, perhaps. He acknowledged how hard it is to get to international finals, in part because he had played and coached in so many. Thrown into Ochoa. Gallardo went up to press. Lifted forward Moreno. Gallardo. The hold up, the turn. Funes Mori winds it out. Mesa. Mesa spins. Goes to ground. Penny for, well, this entire crowd's thoughts. The city so divided between Monterrey and Tigres supporters. Don't think it's lost on a single soul who won the 2019 final between those sides, who won the 2020 final, and finally managed to overcome a decade of international incompetence come finals. Tigres ultimately reaching the Club World Cup from CONCACAF, making history of their own. Monterrey would most definitely love to recover, add another star to their crest.
Still making friends, Vegas. It's a really good look at the shape right now for Monterrey and this ever-changing midfield for Club America. I talked about the different looks that they've been given over the tournament, Mike, and part of it was looking for an identity. The other part of that was really trying to challenge what was in front of them, and so you come out on the front foot, you go get your goal inside 10 minutes. A couple of other chances, a few quality saves from Memo Ochoa, and then the next thing you know, you find yourself on the back foot chasing a ton. They've sat the single on the inside in the midfield. They've gone flat across the middle. But a lacking of depth almost every single time has gotten them into trouble. And so you've seen more out of Fidalgo and Sanchez. I said coming in, they needed more of the ball. They didn't have to have the brunt of it. They've still yet to get there.
Oh, wonderful. Sanchez. Everyone was so sure that was Reyes bound in the right channel. Said stepped over, tried to test the keeper.
So what ends up happening is Gallardo tracking all the way back, and when you come over for Celso Ortiz, then the middle starts to open up. It's smartly done as Reyes just spins to the outside, drags the runner with him, takes even more space to the inside. It's the recognition that you can then step into it. That was something that was drastically lacking opening 20-25 minutes for the visitors.
Vegas tries to get in the mix again. Martin. Club America preparing a change, but the ball forward is over Martin. How do they manufacture more? Sebastian Cordoba awaits. What kind of impact could he make off the bench? Struck into the wide area from Rodriguez. Funes Mori making the driving run. What seemed so intriguing was quickly reverted to midfield. Montez taking the space. A vital intervention. guess outside. Gallardo. Ortiz. This will come back to Moreno. 119 caps for Mexico. Very little he hasn't accomplished. Free kick, Monterrey. Change, Club America. Well, it's an intriguing switch here that'll come. Fuentes comes off, Cordoba on.
That's just a little pop back for Salvador Reyes, who will come deeper. Watch to see which side they keep Cordoba on and the way that they utilize him with, because Roger Martinez had come to the left-hand side with the switch on Reyes, but he will go back to the right. Cordoba will attack from this near channel in front of his manager.
First change by either side comes in the 55th minute. Cordoba getting the standard welcome. Meza puts it in play. Ortiz. Martinez. Header from Montes. Still it remains Club America. Montes steps in a second time. Gonzalez dummied through. Funes Mori. Overzealous referee allowing play to continue through it. Memo Ochoa and Santiago Solari asking how that could be.
Given the way that they like to attack with Jorge Sanchez, to really assimilate Cordoba into this environment, I would expect the little pinch in just like this. His ability to come back to the inside, Mike, and receive.
There he is, Cordoba. Winds it back wide, and the offside flag.
The argument was the run on the back post and whether Montes had kept him onside, but with a little tuck in like Cordoba, you add that extra attacking effort. It's late to get back on, isn't it? Have to be smarter and don't think you're going to win the foot race against that one player. Bruno Valdez, what a matchup that is with Funes Mori.
Two Titans, eh? Return looking for some semblance of space. Gallardo chipping backside, chested down and lifted over the bar. The Monterrey fans know that could have been valuable insurance from Funes Mori.
He's just so good at finding that half space, and Gallardo, notice, he doesn't force the option. Stays to the outside, knows that it's congested, and as the ball makes its way back out, this is easy. Just put it up and let him go get it. That's easy enough for Funes Mori to get one off. It's also quite difficult in traffic to bring it down and then release it on frame.
Gallardo. Ortiz. Well, Mesa read that all the way. Kept that in on the line. He's created something. Free kick. Argument for a card.
Easily one of the best players within the tournament, and the explosions all the way into the final third are the reason being why. Apologies. Salvador Reyes forgot something. Has to be. Absolutely card. No freebies here.
He joins Cáceres on a card. Club America. Service across. Header lofts out. Defensively, a corner to come.
With the positive thinking that you're getting out of Maxi Meza throughout this tournament, continue to go that direction. Fuentes was in trouble. Cáceres yellow card. Now Reyes in the 59th minute. Push the tempo on that side. Attack them. Make them make a mistake.
Gonzalez. Sanchez leaps for it. Rodriguez floats this back forward, diving header right at Ochoa. Meza sneaking in behind. Rodriguez hoping to create a moment ago. Medina just went to ground. So Rodriguez played into the back line for a moment. Rolled across by Valdez, very much in question. 2020 Clausura ended due to an injury sustained against Monterrey.
With the addition of Cordova into this equation, the midfield three of Club America flattening itself out a lot because you've come much higher, almost creating 3 or 4 attacking options, 2 specifically centrally located. Henry Martin still lost in translation throughout this match, but with Sanchez pushing higher and higher, it's also more pressure on that back line and how they can get back into it. Quickly trying to make their way back off. Well read by Meza to get through. Did well enough to get it on frame, but certainly not enough to get it by Ochoa.
And well done by the AR. Indeed, the other run was very much offside. No question about Meza. If he scores that, he's the Golden Boot winner of the tournament as well. Alas, it's still Kasper Shibilko for now, who lit the early rounds of this tournament on fire for Philadelphia Union. They themselves a debutant in this tournament. These two sides know this tournament well. 6 combined titles in the Champions League era. Less than half an hour to play before stoppage time. Rayados opening the scoring in the 9th. Funes Mori, the unflappable Ochoa, sends out
It was a struggle for Club America in that Union home and away as well, wasn't it? Started off the 2-0, and then challenges started to fly in that second one. Could be singing a very different tune had the penalty gone in at the start of the second half. Many thanks to Memo Ochoa for that one.
And all this for Club America comes off just a completely disconcerting performance in the bubble in 2020. One that got El Piojo fired.
Their performances within this tournament itself have been very interesting. It's the Olympia matchup where long balls up over the top, very difficult to defend. You look at what went on in the Portland fixtures, disinterested at times, to be honest, but still professionally got the job done. And then against Philadelphia Union, first leg, very quiet in that first game, sort of cruised to a unconventional 2-0 victory. Second leg, much more effort. Just talked about it a little bit. You go up, sustained 10, 15 minutes of pressure towards the tail end of the first half. Shibilko and his beautiful run of play, his ability to explode into the final third. Almost gave them their opener. Jacob Montes as well. And yet still padded their victory to walk out with 4-0 on aggregate. And now here with a great run of form within the league.
Just the one loss. It was to Toluca away in September. This is Osuna. It's left a bit of a mark.
It is interesting for a team that's only lost once within league play and thrice over 25 that you could stumble out of the gate that flat. That's what finals do to you, Mike.
Nicolas Benedetti waiting to come in here for Club America. Ball sneaks through, Gallardo, a touch from Ochoa, and now he smothers it. And then something has occurred behind the play. That was Ortiz, the edge of the halfway line, and the ensuing circle. The dramatics are rising now. Sanchez remains down.
Tumble, right?
Yeah, goes down on his own.
His leg and the way that it spins away from him. A little surprised here that Funes Mori doesn't drop back. It's the eye-to-eye contact, though, trying to find that back post run on the ball from Gallardo. Seemingly loads of real estate available to close this thing off and at least pump it up by 2 with 25 to go, but Memo Ochoa had other ideas.
Well, this is devastating for Club America, seeing Sanchez go down this way.
It's the knee, ankle, all of it. You're trying to make a play extended away from the body. Seen a couple of those tonight, but never as quickly making an impact on a player as it just has on Richard Sanchez.
The initial plan was just one change at this juncture. That plan has changed. So Nicolas Benedetti will come in. Played in Olympic qualifying for the Colombian under-23s this year. His second year at the club. Osuna comes off, trying to fill a very unenviable pair of shoes in the injured Pedro Aquino. Osuna simply couldn't do that man's job all on his own, but he's kept Club America in it, and they did grow into the game without doubt. Antonio Lopez has come on as well. He'll replace the injured Richard Sanchez. You do hope it's nothing too significant for Sanchez. He is such a critical component. Free kick to come. Cards out. Martinez needs to stay away from this. He's shown a yellow card. Fernando Hernandez trying to make quite clear Martinez shouldn't be playing a role from here.
He didn't agree from the second the whistle was blown, but there's not much of an argument here. Tiniest touch on the ball, but watch the follow-through. Studs the entire way, all over the ankle. Easy enough for the referee to pick that out. Santiago Solari is going to have something up his sleeve with Benedetti coming in, and where you can deploy him. Martinez coming down underneath. It's almost a false nine of sorts with a flat four. You would think Fidalgo and Lopez next to each other. A little surprised, to be honest, that they've stuck with Martin. The inability to really make a full impact on this game. Only need one special moment, of course, as a true striker, but argue lack of service, argue emotion, desire, all of that. His movement hasn't been that dynamic either.
Rayado's preparing a change as well. That is Ortiz who's down. Matthias Kronevitter waiting to enter the fray. And indeed, the athletic trainer has clarified there will need to be a change here for Ortiz. And Devin, this is not an instance in which we see a muscular injury, but if you think back to the previous injury to Richard Sanchez, there is a lot more match congestion right now throughout the world. It's not a CONCACAF problem, it's a global problem that's been discussed quite a bit. These two teams have 14 players that were called for the most recent international window. Really no rest for the weary.
You know, when people think about, okay, it's club, it's country, it's a game here, it's travel there. When you take into load management for these guys, it's become very difficult to handle all of that. And so seasons are built upon when can you find the maximum output for these players. As Hector Moreno having a few words with Martinez. And so things like that are going to happen. You don't necessarily see it coming in the form of a brutal challenge 25, 30 yards from goal on Celso Ortiz, who did well for himself tonight.
Andrada sends away. Indeed, it's Ortiz off, Kronevitter on. Meza. Can he dazzle us once more? Rodriguez turns. Attempt to slide forward. First incursion from Kronevitter. There's a well-won intervention. The service, the header is wide. Alfonso Gonzalez nearly sent this stadium into an absolute frenzy.
Both Alfonso Gonzalez and Carlos Rodriguez have done so much chasing all night, but look at the advancement. Just drifting right in behind Valdez, who loses him because of Funes Mori, and the little step forward, well done by the striker.
Rolled into the wide area. Ball bouncing. Both Gonzalez and Funes Mori were atop the 6-yard box. Martinez. Cordoba. Put in play by Benedetti.
Those are the little things that you get out of Funes Mori, Mike. The physical presence of him dragging runners with him, so dangerous. And just the ability to create in behind, not even touching the ball. Quick little glance and they're off.
Driven ahead for Martin. Reyes. The back heel fell apart. Reyes came off of Montes. Positioned himself perfectly. Now Funes Mori trying to dodge his way into the attacking half. Buckle up. 17 minutes before stoppage time. Rayados have held the lead since the 9th minute. Martinez with a gallop. Club America just doesn't have that many more aces up their sleeve. Sanchez. Bypassing Funes Mori. Gallardo. Funes Mori just went down. They're calling for the athletic trainer, a change to come. The way Vincent Johnson got up off the bench made you think he knew his time was coming. The stretchers come out for Funes Mori. He had already waived for this.
Look at the pull-up. Hamstring. You could speculate. Immediately when he went down, he pointed. Hand on the back of the leg. It's certainly not a cramp in the look of desperation with the injury to their striker.
And the question coming into this tournament was, could he become the all-time leading scorer in Rayados history, passing the Chilean Humberto Suazo? He's done that since this tournament began, and he's got the go-ahead goal in this final.
The slide all the way to the backside. 15 minutes in, this team was rocking and rolling, but it was the 9th minute goal on the magical start from their all-time leader. Funes Mori passes the torch on with hopes that that one can be the victor. And the one who, to be fair, early on in this tournament really helped cement this team offensively.
One cap for Argentina in 2021, made the change to represent Mexico on the international stage, and well, instantly has jumped into the plans due to the injuries at the number 9 position, and certainly the politicking perhaps as well. Funes Mori and Henry Martin both part of the conversation around World Cup qualifying for El Tri. The whistle blows, enough contact to send down Benedetti.
The amount of talent that El Tri possess in the 9 spot, you could have that conversation all day long till the cows come home. Benedetti, the look on this right-hand side has changed since Cordoba has gone to the left. They have not found as much fluidity in the build, especially the overlapping runs from Jorge Sanchez. Not the same relationship last 5-10 minutes.
Cordoba. Rodriguez. It'll be a different look up front from Johnson. With those fresh legs, he's chasing. Out to the back of Fidalgo. Next 15 minutes or so will decide how history looks at this Monterrey side in its current iteration. Know some of the names that dominated the headlines of their last Champions League final run in 2019. No, they're not here. They're snared by Andrada, one of the newcomers. But yet, dynastic powers are defined by the extent to which they win in a short period of time. This Rayados side possesses the opportunity to win twice in 3 years. And 3 years that invariably change the course of human history at that. Shot from the wide area. Didn't really test Ochoa at all, did it? You saw him there. He is one of the constants, isn't he? Funes Mori. No Pabon. Lyon switches sides in this rivalry. Loba, $7 million sale to Nashville. Nicolas Sanchez was the man last time around. He's moved along as well. Club America into the final third. A handball. It belongs to Rayados. Aviles Hurtado. go right down the list. This is demonstrably not the same Monterrey that was here playing in this final in 2019.
It's not the same team that was playing in the spring.
True enough.
Forget the final. A relative who's who that has departed since those opening 16 back in April. And yet still the ever steady constant that is Rayados within this tournament, Mike. Never really willing to go away, are they?
Well, when they qualify, that is. And a different manager along the way as well. A former academy player who spent 4 years in the first team at Club America, in Javier Vasco Aguirre. Sanchez, Martinez, floating up Andrada.
Notice the past couple of minutes, less in a build for Club America. Once you get into that 20, 25-yard mark, they're just resorting to these balls up over the top, hit with a hope that they can get someone on the end of it.
Johnson's got an IDs around the keeper. He brings it back and it is in. But out. Saved away from the line. Remarkably so. The all-time sitter. The referee has stopped play. Martinez is coming off, going to the bench in an absolute huff.
He's already off, and that's the argument right now on the sideline. Referee expecting the change with Viñas to come on. He's in the dugout. I mean, he is sitting on the chair already. They are at 10.
How does Johnson not score that back pass?
Cáceres, another mistake. The steps, Ochoa, the tiny touch there to get back around. What a recovery. Even with the mistake, the wherewithal and the peace of mind that you've created, that you're still within arm's reach of this tournament.
Clearly, it seemed destined for the goal. Quite the recovery indeed. Free kick.
There's no real reason to use a brunt of force in this situation here, Mike. The 2v1, you've slowed down the attack. Alfonso Gonzalez has nowhere to go. And just give it right back. You don't have that luxury inside 8 minutes to play here. Very fortunate. The lead was not just doubled.
Referee gestures. He's very much keeping an eye on time. Medina. corner. You do feel like Rayados are leaving a door just a bit ajar for Club America. Service whipped across. Headers out altogether. Time's of the essence now. And it's the loudest this stadium has been so far tonight. Beyond perhaps the goal in the 9th minute from Funes Mori. Sanchez, recovered by Vegas. Beautiful. Gallardo. Gallardo will go it alone. Gallardo!
You think Johnson for this little push back in. Everybody steps with him. Gaping hole within the two center back pairing that had come high, so it's on to the recovery by Cáceres once again.
Floated ball backside. Benedetti. Appeal for a handball. It continues. Ball ushered back. Sanchez dangerously. Well, you'd have to think they could have gone to VAR after the fact if that indeed was a handball in the build-up. Instead, they allowed it to continue. Not much in that, but Gonzalez splays the ground.
He's been much better here in the second half. Alfonso Gonzalez, as deep as they've been pinned, asking for some sort of excerpt in the midfield to help them moving forward. Carlos Rodriguez dropping deeper next to Kranjvitter, especially with the departure of Ortiz, and Gonzalez has naturally moved into their main attacking presence.
Gallardo was being attended to by the trainer at the near touchline. He's not the only one. And the stadium holds 51,000 or so. There's 39,839 in the building. Continuing to sing as Alfonso Gonzalez splayed down. Signed at a tryout with Atlas in Mission, Texas. He grew up playing baseball. He broke his arm. No baseball for a summer meant eventually the path that would lead him to professional football. And with it, perhaps a Champions League crown. Clipped ahead. Snagged by Andrada.
It's the best he's been all night coming off his line. Never hurts that it's inside 5 to go in the final. A couple of mistakes in the opening 45 minutes, Mike, that could have cost him.
Ultimately, it was the biggest mistake from Club America that's put this game in Monterrey's favor. Another injury, and with it, Devin, we've spent the majority of the last 5 minutes not actually playing any soccer, which makes you wonder just how long stoppage time will be. Alfonso Gonzalez will come off here. Eric Aguirre will come on. He captained Mexico's under-23s through Olympic qualifying, played at the Olympics in Tokyo. He gave all he could tonight, Gonzalez.
His countryman on the other side won the golden ball, Cordoba. He's part of that bronze winning team, and thanks from his manager for the effort put forth. He, Rodriguez, Ortiz, they have had their hands full. Haven't been able to mention them that much because of all of the attacking options as this game has gone on. They've thrown everything at them. Cordoba come through, move Martinez into the middle. Benedetti. Lopez to come on in the midfield. Still no answers.
The attendance now just over 40,000. It's been finalized. 40,170 souls packed in here. At least that's the number who paid. Johnson. Still work to be done here. The slide in. Mesa. Mesa! That could have been that. Instead, we commence 9 minutes of stoppage time, and the Rayados coaching staff are apoplectic. And so we'll go another 10%.
You expected an elongation of this game, Mike, but never in that nature. 9 seems a bit strict, to be fair. Then again, if I said 8, you'd have a laugh.
All the way through to Ochoa. This Champions League final truly going the distance.
Cáceres almost gifted this right back again and removed any sort of conversation to be had for a possible trophy within their mantle. At least another one. That's over the end line. That's corner.
It is. Yes. Andrada dove. Wasn't able to scoop this back into play. It was the work of Benedetti. Steps over to the corner now. Ochoa staring over at Santiago Solari. It's too soon for his attempt. Instead, it's simply Benedetti into the mixer. Headers back and away. Lopez. Andrada. 2 minutes gone in stoppage time. Back to Ochoa from Fidalgo. Header speared back. Bouncing through, sent wide. Ball across, away by Montez. Service once more. Johnson held it up. Admirable work. The push from behind, a free kick, Monterrey.
One of the issues you run into if you're Club America is they've had to go so traditional at the tail end of this match, Mike, and everything is just a long ball up over the top. even as you push Valdez up into the midfield and bring him higher for set pieces, it's all gone vertical. Their ability to break this team down has ceased to exist. No longer of any interest to combine in any way, shape, or form. Maxi Meza knew the challenge was always going to come, lean into it, to be fair. There is contact.
This will find Gallardo. Rodriguez, the cut. Monterrey has allowed multiple chances in this second half to languish. They've opened the door with just the 1-goal lead, as tight a margin as possible. The 9th minute from Funes Mori. Numbers pile forward again. Sanchez. Space on the backside. Slide in, that's a free kick. Johnson, frustrated as can be, the Dutchman.
And there is contact, and he does so well for himself to close the space down, to stand up all the way down into the corner. Everybody marked.
Ochoa's up now. There's still 4 minutes or so. Ochoa's gonna have to cover a lot of ground if he doesn't get to this first.
Fidalgo wide open on the back stick.
22 in yellow.
No mark at all.
Is this the moment for Club America? Can they equalize late in stoppage time? The ball across, they were looking to get it there. Swiped away by Andrada. The throw, it's quick. And it's an error. It's a staggering error. It appeared that the call there was a foul throw. What an unbelievable time.
Credit to him, watch. Whoops. Gotta plant both.
Yeah.
Or drag one, can't do the exact same. He's in.
Ball over the top. Aguirre. Can he end it? Right at Ochoa. And again, Club America breathes. The air is slowly being siphoned out. There's still another 2 minutes. Rodriguez slow and steady late in this final. Montes. Ochoa. They've tasted defeat just twice, Club America. Many assumed this was their final to lose. The offside flag had indeed gone up. Maybe as little as 90 seconds to go. This is the soccer capital of CONCACAF. They've just unveiled a banner on the far right with a 5th continental star on it. Has it come too soon? In a minute, we'll know. A sign of the times, camera lights on throughout. It must be now for Club America. No time left to waste. Floated beyond the halfway line. Deflects down, speared back. Free kick, Club America. The opportunity of a lifetime presents itself. Cards come out. Medina. That's Kronavitter.
You're lucky to get the first one off if you are Salvador Reyes, and lucky that the high boot isn't called on you. Ochoa up. Where's the height of Valdez? That's your presence you're looking for at 6'1".
Yellow cards coming out. These are academic if this ends in moments. Jorge Sanchez and Ochoa pushing and shoving. Memo Ochoa's forward. Santiago Solari, is there something he can provide from here? A set piece. Whistle to mouth. Floated forward once more. Header down in front, a chance, it's flicked off the bar. The follow, cleared, still alive and wide. Appeal for a handball. Literally at the end. Tempers flare.
This could be off the hand. Lots of traffic inside the top of the 18 on this ball, floated back through. Cordoba on the second one, just take the air out of it. Allow someone to run underneath that. He does that more. The little flick on, the ability to just get the one touch off, and then right here is the trailing left hand hit. That is the question. It's the second effort put forth on the flick through by Benedetti. There's your touch. That's the crossbar. And then right there,
Mesa.
That's close. That's very close.
The call on the field is a goal kick. VAR is available in the Champions League final for the first time.
The left arm, right there, that's away from the body. Are they going to deem it an unnatural position? That is the question. And this is your perfect angle. Watch it pop up. Right there. Oh. Does it catch the backside of it? The first angle said yes, and now there on the second.
It looked like Viñas was the one who was about to score an all-time Club America goal. Instead, he struck the bar. The referee has a finger to his ear. Surely that's Adonai Escobedo. Now there's multiple discussions, certainly. Is there a handball there off Cáceres as well?
And then twice off Meza, possibly. The angles are very difficult to work with.
They are going to review it. VAR to decide the Champions League. The whistle was already in the referee's mouth to end this if that ball had been cleared. And instead, Fernando Hernandez is racing down the tunnel to make a decision that will have ripple effects far and wide. This is clearly what they're looking at as opposed to the initial confrontation at the top of the box.
The one angle says yes, but this one leads me to believe no. Look, there's already rotation on the ball, and as it comes back through, yes, the arm is away from the body. Yes, it's unnatural, but does it connect? And then the second follow through here as Cordoba steps through. There's just so many limbs and parts to be had here. Look at the left arm and just trailing back through. Right there. That's a much better look.
What the referee is looking at right now in concert with VAR is precisely what you're seeing on your screen.
And Mike coming in, the argument would have been from me for the first one, but this is a much better look on the second one when he's on the ground.
Here is the decision. Does this final continue? It's over! It's over! Monterrey wins the Champions League! And there's no doubt who the team of the decade is here. None at all. A 5th Champions League crown in 11 years. For Club America, they were so close. And for Memo Ochoa, 16 years on from his first winner's medal in this competition, he comes up short. And the most dramatic use of VAR, perhaps in its infancy and its history, ends the Champions League. With Rayados champions for the second time in 3 years. And the trophy itself stays in Monterrey for a 3rd consecutive year after their crosstown rival won it, Tigres, in 2019.
5th in the last 11, almost 50% of the time. This runs through this magical city and this beautiful tournament. Once again, calls Monterrey home.
tenemos que pelear todos los títulos. Ya me tocó ganar uno, ahora me tocó ganar otro. La verdad que es especial. Siempre la gente, no veníamos bien a nivel de resultados, pero lo dimos todo en la cancha y lo ganamos.
No parecía Monterrey favorito, pero en las finales todo puede pasar y se dejó todo a un lado para que Monterrey fuera campeón.
Sí, sin duda, acá es 50-50. Hoy nos toca a nosotros, creo que hicimos un gran partido. Ese gol tempranero nos hizo bien y después nos supimos defender bien.
¿Libera presión esto, Rogelio, por todo lo que ha pasado en el torneo local?
No, nosotros vamos partido a partido. Este era nuestro primer objetivo, ya lo cumplimos. Y ahora pensar en el mañana, creo que hoy estoy muy contento y muy feliz por esta gente.
Parece que el otro año tendrás 2 mundiales. El otro año tendrás 2 mundiales. Mundial de Clubes y Qatar.
Primero está el de Mundial de Clubes y después, si Dios quiere, tengo que seguir haciendo las cosas bien y ojalá que pueda ser el Mundial también.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Sí, pues bueno, ¿a qué sabe este campeonato?
Alegría, alegría. La verdad que tenemos un grupo bárbaro, excelente, que está para estas cosas, está para estos partidos. Hoy lo demostramos y creo que más allá del gran rival como era el América, fuimos merecedores campeones.
No podían dejar por muertos a Monterrey como se especulaba toda la semana y hoy lo demostró el equipo de Rayados.
Era un partido totalmente diferente. Era una final, no se juegan todos los días. Disfrutamos de este partido, hoy se notó y creo que por eso somos campeones.
Y ahora un Mundial de Clubes, Maxi.
La verdad que bueno, vamos a representar otra vez al Club Monterrey, a México, porque bueno, es un sueño y vamos a ir a competir como este grupo siempre lo hace.
¿Este título libera presión por todo lo que ha pasado, el entorno, lo que ha pasado en el torneo local?
No, creo que la ansiedad y pensar mucho en este partido, por ahí tuvimos altibajos, pero hoy demostramos para qué estamos hechos y bueno, gracias a Dios le dimos una alegría a esta afición y a nosotros.
Muchas gracias, felicidades.
Gracias.
Well, it is an exuberant mood here in Monterrey. 6 appearances in Champions League, 5 finals, 5 titles for Monterrey. They dropped a banner at the end of the stadium with a 5th star in the dying minutes of stoppage time. And VAR ultimately ended this game on a controversial potential handball. Devin, Club America, they seem stunned. Monterrey, this almost feels like their birthright now. 5 continental titles in 11 years. It really is a fascinating dichotomy of an atmosphere here.
It was an interesting tournament for them throughout as well, and all the talk coming in about the favorites being Club America in terms of overall play, because they've been so magnificent in Liga MX and having only dropped 1 match throughout. And then you moved into Champions League and how great they've been as well, showcasing themselves at an extremely high level. Truly a team effort. But there were glimpses from this Rayados squad of past that you knew were there. Health concerns in certain areas. You get some help by someone like Hector Moreno onto the back line, and then that propels you from minute 1 to basically minute 100. The amount of minutes that we had to play. It was beautiful from start to finish from Rayados in very different fashion. But the opening 20-25 minutes is really what won them the entire match.
The Fair Play Award, always the first to be handed out. And it's Monterrey's Wasn't a ride with no turbulence, but it wasn't far off for Monterrey.
Continuaremos con la ceremonia entregando el premio a la revelación juvenil. La revelación juvenil del torneo presentado por Scotiabank es
Federico Viñas, the 2021 Young Player Award. You can see the tears welling up in Memo Ochoa's face. This is not the trophy he came here for.
A decade and a half between his finals trips. Unfortunately, that fate that he was looking for on his end is not going to occur. Mike was brilliant in the game when called upon. The opening mistake by his center backs was never put back on track.
He scored a Champions winning goal just 9 minutes into this match. Best player of the 2021 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. And come the end of the tournament, oftentimes people just care who got the job done in the grand finale. The officials, Karen Diaz, the first woman to receive this medal, the first championship final for Fernando Hernandez in the Champions League. Fernando Guerrero, Michael Barwigan, the VAR Adonai Escobedo, the AVAR Arturo Cruz.
Outside of what went on at maybe the tail end of this, and that argument that could or could not be for some Club America fans, it was fantastically done by this crew. The VAR decision on the opening goal for Funes Mori in the 9th minute, all the way till that fateful 100-minute moment that did not come for the visitors.
Club America receives their medals as runners-up. Devin, it's ultimately a disappointment anytime you don't win something of this magnitude, especially under the microscope that exists in Mexico City. No Pedro Aquino coming into this game. They were also unable to use the cup-tied Miguel Layun. They struggle at the outset with Olympia, but they still make the final, and they're in first place when they get back to the domestic league against Cruz Azul, their biggest rival at the Azteca next week.
It's a silver lining, though, because this is all going to be about disappointment. And you mentioned microscope. Within this organization, it's magnified to the umpteenth time because of the history that exists, and what's arguably the greatest club to ever exist in the Mexican nation. And yes, Layun, yes, Aquino, Valdez and Cáceres dealing with knocks of their own, they're available. Sanchez returning from injury, he's within, wasn't at his best. Lainez hurt, and yet still they make their way all the way to the final, and they make themselves on the breaking point of getting an equalizer, of getting a go-ahead, but not to be. It was almost like the fate was in the stars.
For Santiago Solari and Club America, just their 3rd loss since returning from a summer where so many players were part of international competition in CONCACAF and beyond. The crowd roars. Monterrey will get the very much deserved reward for 204 days of very hard work.
This is class, by the way, as all of them make their way to get their medals. Santiago Solari is standing on the near touchline, asking for all of his players to come back out of the tunnel to sit next to everything and watch what's taking place in front of them.
He's gesturing to individual players But the spotlight all the while belongs to Monterrey. Again, this club is the spotlight of CONCACAF. "11 years ago, even the great Raúl Funes Mori wasn't part of this picture. So much has changed. The venue, the coach, the star players, and of course the crest has gradually evolved. And yet the common threads lie all around us, over 40,000 of them. And it extends through this football-crazed city that will celebrate CONCACAF's greatest club prize again en route to the UAE in early 2022, and another berth in the Club World Cup. And they're going to get quite the trophy to go with it." The former Club America youth. He played 4 years there. He scored goals in the opposing shirt. And yet tonight, he's the one, Javier Aguirre, who leads Monterrey to the mountaintop. They won the Clásico Regio in the 2019 final. They watched Tigres win it while they sat at home in 2020. Now in 2021, they're back. It's a dream to win it once. These fans, they're going to win it for a 5th time. These players will hoist it again in front of a raucous home crowd. Rayados, CONCACAF Champions League title holders again. All the noise, Devin. There was a lot of noise. They tuned it all out and come away with the trophy for what's been an indeed very turbulent, overarching campaign around this Champions League.
They kept the necessary tone, though, and that was the resounding support from the community and everything that they were able to bring to this fateful match that obviously favors them within the footballing world and the gods that are the CONCACAF Champions League. It's been a difficult journey for them. I mentioned searching for an identity within the tournament. That same process trying to play itself out domestically, and when you don't have that combination or one to lean on, you heard the words from Javier Aguirre in the lead up to the match that we don't have to worry about one or the other. We just worry about what's right in front of us and the opportunity to take down another title. They've done it. They've done it in dramatic fashion again. And have they been the best team throughout the tournament? Lots could make the argument for no. But the one thing that matters, they're currently holding on to right now. It was the ability to push forth, to start quickly, to find their striker. They answered all of that in the opening 20-25 minutes, and then were able to close this out. A well-deserved victory for Monterrey, these fans, and everybody associated with Rayados.
This celebration will continue through the night in Monterrey. And a 5th crown, a trip to the Club World Cup awaits. But tonight, it's CONCACAF glory that will most certainly fill the cup and every heart in all of Monterrey. Club America falls in, well, devastating fashion. But it's Monterrey who win it again. For our entire team, both in Monterrey and beyond, Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, another enjoyable final indeed. from Estadio BBVA. Monterrey win the Champions League. Rayados 1, Club America 0.